Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade, and today we're going to be taking a look at a kind of a news-driven trade here. Let me just get my orders in place. We're short right now at 1233.2, 4 contracts. Let me bump that up to 4. Now, the way that I want to design this type of trade here is I'm just going to measure from my entry to where my stop is and just make sure that I've got correct risk reward here. So 31.9, we're going to take 2 contracts off there. We're going to take 1 contract off at 30.6. And depending on how this looks, typically with these news moves, you're going to get a drive back down to these lows. So for right now, I'm also going to include the 300% down here at 29.3. And I like going, a couple ticks ahead of those. I don't like those exact levels there. So we'll go there, there, and there. So looking at this move here, the reason why I like this trade right now is we had this big news come out at 8:30, rocketed price higher, and you can see they immediately started failing. Now, typically, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to get this drive up, pulls back to, whatever percent fib that you like to use, and then shoots back up to the highs. In this case, typically, this is the converse of what happens, where the sellers up at the highs here defend this location. And when you come back to that location, you can see they immediately shot right back in and started defending it. Now, you could have entered in a little bit earlier here. It would have put you 1 tick better at 1233.3, entering underneath this candle here. I didn't like it as much because it closed above and it didn't look quite as good, but when we came back down, we snapped up to it and then rejected right back down on that candle there, and that's the reason why I'm entering where I am. It's a little bit later. Yeah, I'm giving up 1 tick, but that extra confirmation there is kind of that peace of mind, if you will, makes the trade look even better to the downside. So we're filled short 4 contracts at 33.2. Looking to take off 2 off at the first one here, that's 12 ticks, so it'll give us 24 ticks. Looking to take 1 off at the second one here for 25. And then if we can drive lower to that final target below here, I'll be taking off 38 ticks down there. Now, we may have to move that final one up a little ways. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily drive down that, but again, I'm expecting price to come all the way down to the open of this news candle down here at 28.2. So that'll be kind of the area of defense, and if we can get down there, we may actually get another trade in the reverse right back up to the upside. So 1228.2 is kind of the area that I'm gunning for right now. I am being a little bit more conservative, taking my target off ahead of that at 29.4 because that's 3-to-1 versus my risk. So I'm happy with a 3-to-1 trade, that's for sure. So if we can get all of them filled, we're taking 2 off at 12, that's 24, plus another 25, plus 38. That gives us 87 ticks on the trade, $870 if we can get that drive lower. So we're actually coming into that target here. We'll see if they can get it filled. Otherwise, we'll pause for a second, come back, and see if they can drop it lower. But yeah, we'll give it a couple seconds, see if they can fill that. Otherwise, we'll pause, and then we'll just wait until we can get a little bit of a drive lower, get some of these targets filled. All right, didn't have to pause for very long. Got that target filled there, 32. So let me adjust my stop really quick to 2, get that to break even. And actually, with this candle forming, we can probably get it to break even plus 1 just to lock in a little bit there. So right now, the way that this trade is looking is setting up perfectly. But the one area of resistance that we're always going to come into when we come out of that EMA, you're always going to expect people to buy it. I'm still anticipating price to drop from here, but that is kind of the concern right now. That's why I'm locking my stop into a little bit more profitable, just in case it does bounce up. I don't want to get have that first couple of targets taken out and then not take any else in terms of the winners out. You don't want to deal with that. So we've got our stop to break even plus 1 in this case just to lock out some of the commission, and we're testing that EMA right now. So that's typically again where we're going to bounce. Wouldn't be a surprise to see this bounce up a little bit. Hopefully not high enough to take us out, but we're in for the long haul here. So I got that first target taken out at 12. Now we're just looking for a continued move lower to hit 25. And depending on how price looks when we start kind of dropping lower, we may move this target up at 38 back up to kind of come together with this 30.7. It really depends on how this looks. If this candle completely reverses and closes green, bouncing off that EMA, I'm probably just going to get out. I don't really want to deal with a full-blown reversal at that EMA. I am expecting buying, but not enough to reverse it. We'll kind of see what happens here. So we'll be back in a little bit, see if we can get a drop lower and start kind of hitting into these next targets. All right, we're getting a lot of volume coming in. It just slapped right through our level there. It got us filled at 30.7. So we got our second target filled. We've got 1 contract off there. With the volume that's coming in, I'm going to leave my target at 29.4. We're getting a lot of selling coming in. It does look like they're going to attempt to try to push back down to these 28.2 level down there at the beginning of that news move. So my interest right now is lying a little bit lower at 28.2, and you can see how whippy this price is. It's going kind of crazy. Let me get my stop locked in a little closer closer here. I don't want to give too much back, but I do want to give it room to kind of move around. That's kind of the one big thing when you're dealing with these types of price action trades is you don't want to choke the trade out. It does need room to move around. The fact that we've broken below the EMA and came back, I am willing to go a little bit above that. We'll say right there and just lock in what we can. But right now we're coming right into our target here, 29.6. We came 2 ticks away. Really don't want to see it reverse from here, but at the same time, we do need to give it room. We're already locked into a really profitable position. Got one taken off at 25, one off at 12. I mean, worst case scenario, you could just put your stop right at 30.7, where the other target would have been anyway, and try to see if you can get that final target down here. I'll leave it up here above the EMA just for right now. If I do start seeing signs of this reversing, then we'll just drop the stop a little bit lower and take what we can get. But so far, we haven't come 1 tick away yet, which is where I normally like to lock my stop in. We've came 2 ticks away. Now, I know you're kind of splitting hairs at that point, but based on my rules and my trade plan, we haven't come to the point where I've got to lock my stop in. So 1 tick away so far. We'll give it some room, pause the video for a little bit here, and see if we can get that target filled. All right, we're back. We came 1 tick away from our target, so I'm going to lock my stop in a little bit closer here, just above this candle's high. I don't want to see it reverse. So again, 1 tick away, that's usually when I start getting a little bit more aggressive on my stop. I don't want to see it come back at all. So 30.4, instead of 30.4, we'll go to 30.5. Let's go to 30.6. And the reason I like that area is that's just that previous little closing areas through there. Don't want to really see it come back to that level, but I do want to see it continue a little bit lower. At the same time, though, I don't want to give all of that back. So right now, 30.6, we'd be locking in 26 ticks, which is right where we were. And we can actually just put it right on our entry back there, our last target. There we go, and we got that target filled. Wonderful. So we got that target filled, 29.4. Beautiful move down. It definitely stalled a little bit, came 2 ticks away, bounced up, kind of revisited that EMA a little bit, and then dropped back down again. And that does happen from time to time. That's kind of what you need to expect in terms of price action. People love buying and selling at the EMA, and if there's not enough sellers to continue that aggressive move down, it's probably going to come back to it. So we got out a little bit later, unfortunately, had to sit through about 30 minutes of time here, but got taken out here at 1229.4. Again, holy cow, it just got hammered down. We're actually at that area where I'm expecting price to get defended again. The buyers are going to defend this low at 28.2. Now our trade's done. We've got locked in 87 ticks, but just keep that in mind. On this area here at 28.2, if you get a reversal candle in this area, it might be an option to hop into the upside and just revert this right back up to the highs. So that's going to be the trade for today. 87 ticks, $870. Definitely not too bad if if we had to wait for a little while to get that target filled. But outside of that, that's going to be the trade. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.